Okay, well, 44% predicted that I'd give this a B. That's a lot more generous than last week. Will this movie be better than Disney's Jungle Cruise? We'll get to that in a minute. But first, let's talk about the first Suicide Squad movie again.
What? No, that's too far back. Okay, I guess I'm in a boat of people that doesn't hate the 2016 movie. I totally agree with a lot of the faults of it. The movie is an editing nightmare. It's clear there was a lot of studio control, the villain was weak, but there were okay things I liked about it. A lot of the characters I found to be likable, funny, the movie had personality, energy, and there was some good back and forths between them.
This movie, though, The Suicide Squad, written and directed by James Gunn, is a hell of a lot better. Oh my god, I freaking loved this movie.
And I do love that it's not like it's a total shutdown, let's start over. This is a sequel that takes what worked about the 2016 one and gives it so much better writing, and it doesn't do the things that were weak about it. The characters that are carried over from the Ayer film still do feel like those same characters, just in a much better produced movie. The film does have music cues, but it doesn't feel so post-production edition like the first. It's severely worked into the movie, and at the same time, it doesn't feel like Gunn just doing a Guardians soundtrack again. The songs are there when they need to be, and it goes a long time without playing something else, because the film has a heavy emphasis on the musical score, which is gorgeous. I love the score for this film. And I haven't said something like that about a movie in a long time. You can hear the exploitation movie roots in the soundtrack, but it's definitely modernized and doesn't just feel like something pulled from an older movie. There's so many things that I've seen done bad in a movie that doesn't care as much, but in this, it works. The movie starts with a big battle scene and does the several hours earlier, but that's a part of the storytelling that they do a few times in the film to great effect. Like its clever use of title cards and showing scenes from a different perspective that are happening simultaneous to what we just saw. I was worried at first, like after the opening scene, thinking, okay, you've just shown me some characters who live and die. Am I gonna spend the next hour knowing what happens to these characters and not caring as much? And no, that's not really the case, because it catches up to itself pretty quick.
Speaking of dying, man, does this movie not care what heroes live or die. It doesn't matter how likable they are, or if they're hilarious or sympathetic, they can still die brutally.
But it's so good with some of these characters that one may be on screen for just a minute, but with its dialogue and character interactions, we're given enough info about them to actually feel something if they do die. It's like this with the villains too. You may have a villain on screen who you think will be throughout the movie as one of the big bads, but then they're taken out as quickly as some of the heroes. Boy, does this movie not care who it kills and how brutally it does it. It can turn out that you're actually on the side of good, but still die a sadistic, mean-spirited death, all with a smirk on the film's face. Even a scene where flowers are shot out of people can still be really bloody. This is the director cut loose in all the best ways. You've got a mixture of a lot of James Gunn movies, like his Troma films, Super, Slither, but what I really liked was how truly gritty and sweaty a lot of the film looks. It's got a feel of something that had it been made about 35 years ago, it would have been a New World Pictures film made in the Philippines, and you'd have no idea what was going to explode next. Plus, Reb Brown would probably have been Rick Flag. Or The Peacemaker, either or. Thank God it's a movie about the Suicide Squad that absolutely lets them be dicks. Characters stab each other in the back. You don't know if one is gonna try to eat the other. You've got characters that are shitty parents, traitors, and the mission itself is believable that they'd send these people in to do it. The characters can also be lovable too. The movie has one of the most adorable rats in film history and is probably my favorite character in the film. It feels like what a movie about the Suicide Squad should be. A comic book film with the grit of a quirky Oliver Stone movie. And hey, let's add a little Willard in there. Or Thunder of the Gigantic Serpent, only with a different giant monster. Obviously, you can tell I really love this film, and with the Lloyd Kaufman cameo, I am all for Lloyd Kaufman cameos being the Stan Lee cameos of the DCEU. I'm giving this movie an A, and I can't think of the last time I've given a rating that high to one of these. Whether we're talking about Marvel or DC, this is hands down one of my favorites if we're combining both of those lists of movies.
In other words, yes, it is better than Jungle Cruise. Alright, thanks for watching, everyone. Subscribe to our channel today, plus hit the notification bell, and we'll see you next time.